Just to halt them.
McDonald was standing still when he got the ball. Oh, pushed under the post. Walk! The breakthrough. Neil. Rush. Rodriguez. Dalglish. McDonald begged and available. Whelan pulls wide to the left. This was a bit square, didn't give him anything to run onto, but here's Rush, and that's a goal! The Rush! Two goals in a minute. Dalglish coming at the back. Oh, that is a magnificent goal for Jim Beglin.
May the 29th, 1985, Liverpool fans flocked to Brussels in high spirits for the final against Juventus, but the game soon became meaningless in the face of tragedy. In Heysel Stadium, 39 supporters lost their lives when a wall collapsed amidst horrific and terrifying scenes.
That was horrible, really. It was just an awful day in everybody's life. I just feel there should have been an inquest as to how that stadium could have been chosen. Dilapidated stadium. People tell me they got in, without showing their tickets. That's how dilapidated the stadium was. I'm not condoning anything that went on, but it should never have happened.
Afterwards, when the full extent became known, and we all felt, I certainly did that, the game should never have happened. And I think Joe was just so astonished at what had happened and so devastated by it that he just felt that was the time to go. And I always remember after the game, Joe came round the dressing room, and where previously we'd call him Gaffer or Boss, he handed us all our medals. There was no ceremony, and said, "You can call me Joe from now on." And that was his way of telling us he was going to resign.
Peter phoned us. He phoned the house one night, and they said that the chairman and him would like to come and speak to us. He said, "Do you want me to tell you what it's about?" I said, "Well," we'd like to offer you the manager's job." So I phoned my dad, and I phoned the father-in-law. And they said, "Well, look, if they can put their trust in you, just go for it." So I said, "Okay." I said, "I'll have a go. If you think it's right, I'll have a go. I might have a better chance of getting a game."
I was certainly a little shocked at the time, but of course once you dwelt on it and thought about it a little bit, then you thought, well, why not? Because he had such respect in the game. The fans adored him, all the players admired him hugely.
And he'd take advice, but when he felt it was really right to do something that he felt was completely different, he was headstrong enough to do it, and we would back him.
I think he had a lot of help from the coaching staff as well. Then there'd been Roy Evans, Ronnie Moran as well, so he knew how to handle players, I think, both on and off the pitch, and from that point of view, I think all the players loved him because of that.
I think his first season and the success it brought was proof that it was more than the right choice.
And still, Rush in the middle, Whelan on the near side as we look. Nicol. Oh, I say, what a classic goal!
That was Hansen heading down, Thomas miscued, and Rush played it back, and Whelan fired it, and it came to Mulvey, and that's the equaliser that Liverpool have been threatening to score.
Mulvey. Donald, and in a good position is McMahon. This could be number 3, and it's Liverpool's corner then. Craig Johnston taking it. Gillespie getting up underneath this one, and his header finds the back of the net, and that's 2-0. Nicol, Walsh, Lawrenson, beneath Nishweki, and it's number 2 for Liverpool.
The mid-80s also saw the renaissance of Everton, and in 1986 they were the champions, aiming to dent Liverpool's title hopes. The Blues signalled their intentions with this 2-0 win at Anfield.
For Gary Lineker.
It looked as if we weren't even going to do the league at one stage. Never mind the double, because we were stuttering a bit again, and I think some of the senior players were concerned enough. I think I remember Alan Hansen has subsequently said that he'd gone to Dalglish and said, you know, this team isn't doing it, it's not going to win anything. And Dalglish, who hadn't picked himself much as player-manager, decided to put himself back in the team. And we went on an unbelievable run with him back in the team. His presence and the urgency, the purpose it brought from everybody. I think out of our last 12 games, won 11, drew 1. It's a fantastic time.
Headed by McCarthy. Here's Mulby. Rushes in there. Oh, and it fell to McMahon. McMahon has scored. Hansen, Dalglish. Here's Mulby. And now Johnston. And he fires it across. McMahon! He's got his second. Whelan. And Dalglish is in here. Yes! The player-manager scores the goal that may edge Liverpool nearer to their 16th championship.
A league title in his first season in charge meant anything was achievable for King Kenny's men, and thoughts quickly turned to the possibility of becoming only the second team in the 20th century to carry off both the league and FA Cup double. Again, it was their Merseyside neighbours Everton who stood in Liverpool's way.
That's marvellous. We've been totally supportive all season. They've turned down their thousands tonight to welcome our lads home and obviously to celebrate us winning the league championship.
They're all looking forward to the cup final on Saturday, and everybody's thinking now obviously about the double.
Well, we're the only team that's got a chance of doing it, haven't we?
Here's Jan Mulby. For once the touch of Dalglish deserted him. And Reid now sending Lineker into the path of Gary Lineker. And Grobbelaar saves, but not this time. And Everton are in the lead with Lineker. Now Wheeler. They've picking the pace up now, Liverpool. Now Mulby. Now Rush. Yes! 1-1. Beglin. Rush in for Mulby. And it's there! It's Craig Johnston! Oh, delightful again. Mulby. Oh, look at the space here now for Whelan. Dalglish is making a run for him. One player's gone tumbling. And it's played across for Rush. That's another one. And that will make it safe for Liverpool. And that will mean, without any doubt at all now, that the league and cup double will be theirs. And a cup and a gesture that says Liverpool have done the double.
I felt Liverpool and Everton had the best two sides in Europe then, and you know we'd just snatched the league from Everton, and we played them in the first ever Merseyside cup final. It's just one of them days you never forget, and you know it's like a dream come true.
Both sets of fans have been absolute credit again to the city and to the respective clubs.
You're still two good friends, are you?
Well,
no, I want him to retire now. He's had enough now. He's got to retire now. And then just give us a better chance next year.
Somebody thought I had retired in the first 45 minutes.
Prophecy from Howard Kendall. The 1986-87 season saw his Everton side claim the First Division by 9 points. At Anfield, there was certainly anxiety, especially after goalscorer supreme Ian Rush departed for Juventus.
Maybe there was a feeling that, from his viewpoint, that we'd gotten away with it a little bit. Yeah, we were still capable of playing some great football, and we certainly had pulled the double out of the bag when it didn't look likely at one stage. But that it needed strengthening, it needed more quality.
I was the first part of the jigsaw, and then came John Barnes and Peter Beardsley afterwards, and then Ray Houghton shortly after that, and it just all gelled. It was a fantastic team to play and be part of.
Yeah, this is Venison, and here's Barnes, and Aldridge this time, 2-0.
That team of the late 80s, the end of the 80s, produced some unbelievable football.
McMahon. McMahon! Oh, Hussein! What a belter! Forward by Gillespie. Klein guilty of holding back Beardsley, but he's through anyway. And Beardsley scores his first league goal for Liverpool and makes it 4-0.
For me, that is the best football I've seen in the First Division for 18 months. It was lovely to watch. Why don't they go somewhere else and do it instead of here at Highfield Road?
Barnes.